Arcadian Vanguard presents the Wrestling News in your daily wrestling newscast for Friday, November 3rd, 2023. Good morning, I'm Mike Sempervive. We begin with last night's Ring of Honor streamed on Honor Club and featuring matches taped last Saturday night at the Mohegan Sun Arena in Uncasville, Connecticut. In the main event, Dalton Castle and Gravity won a three-way match against the Workhorsemen and the team of Griff Garrison and Cole Carter. Athena defended her ROH World Women's title, beating former champ Mercedes Martinez. Athena was attacked after the match by both Martinez and Diamante, but Billy Starks made the save. In a four-way tag team match, the Gates of Agony emerged victorious over the Infantry, Iron Savages, and the Wingmen. In other selected results, Action Andretti beat Lee Johnson and Nick Camarotto in a three-way match. Darius Martin defeated Lee Moriarty. The Righteous topped Christopher Daniels and Matt Sydal, and Anthony Ogogo beat Pat Buck. In AEW news, Ric Flair has signed a multi-year contract with the company according to an official press release. As part of the deal, Flair's Woo energy drink will become the official beverage of AEW. Said Tony Khan in a statement, quote, Rick cemented his legacy as one of the greatest professional wrestlers of all time long ago, and his now world-renowned persona and his amazing wrestling mind will be major assets to AEW's programming and our position globally. Most importantly, it's fitting that the final chapter of Sting's iconic career will unfold on TBS with Ric Flair by his side. End quote. The announcement comes after Flair made his first surprise appearance in AEW on last Saturday night's Collision to show his support for his longtime friend and in-ring rival Sting, who had announced his upcoming retirement in 2024. The careers of Sting and Flair have been linked since they main evented the first Clash of Champions special in 1988, an event often credited with permanently elevating Sting's career. In ratings news, last Wednesday's edition of AEW Dynamite drew a total audience of 832,000 viewers to TBS, according to WrestleNomics. That's up from last week's audience of 774,000, despite competition this week from the final game of the World Series. In the key 18 to 49-year-old demographic, the show drew a .28 rating, up from last week's rating of .24. In injury news, Eric of the Viking Raiders, real name Raymond Rowe, has undergone successful neck fusion surgery on his C6 and C7 vertebrae, according to a social media announcement from Rowe. The surgery took place at Andrews Sports Medicine in Birmingham, Alabama. The injury has shelved Eric for the foreseeable future with no timetable given for his return. In the meantime, his Viking Raiders partner Ivar has been getting a push as a singles competitor. Impact Wrestling aired last night on Access TV, featuring matches taped October 26th at the O2 Academy in Glasgow, Scotland, as part of Impact's UK tour. In the main event, the Motor City Machine Guns defeated Eric Young and Josh Alexander. Trinity defended the Knockouts World title on the show, defeating UK independent wrestler Emerson Jane. Also on the show, Grado made his first Impact appearance since 2018, defeating Trey Miguel. In other results, Joe Hendry beat Frankie Kazarian, and Deonna Purrazzo, Brian Myers, and Moose defeated Subculture in the opener. And before we leave you today, we'd like to remind you that however you consume your content, you can find the wrestling news 24 hours a day and 7 days a week across social media. On Twitter, follow us at Wrestling News AV. Our Facebook page is also Wrestling News AV. The Wrestling News can also be found on the Arcadian Vanguard YouTube page. And for those who utilize Amazon Echo devices, just tell Alexa to play the Wrestling News podcast. And remember to make sure you add podcast at the end. Once again, for daily updates, breaking news, and more, follow the Wrestling News across social media. And that's the news for today. If anything happens, we will be here to tell you about it. No clickbait, no paywall, just the Wrestling News. The Wrestling News is a division of Arcadian Vanguard, and the Wrestling Newscast is a production of the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network.